Well, hello, this is Kathy of kathysright.com, and welcome. If you haven't listened to my show before, I'm on YouTube, Patreon, Apple Podcast, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, and GeoSavan. I'm also on kathysright@gmail.com if you'd like to drop a letter, and I'll be happy to read it on air if you'd like, and we can talk about it. There's so much to talk about. There's no shortage of that. So I begin every day with a prayer, not because I'm so great. I really am not terrible, but I do like to start the day in prayer, and so I'm doing my Bible readings. Now I don't know what your faith particulars are. I'm a Catholic, but we have a Bible reading every day in the church. Throughout the church, we're all saying the same prayers, doing the same readings, and hopefully unified in faith. I think that it's a good practice just because it's available. I mean, for 1500 years before the printing press, the Bible wasn't available to everybody. It wasn't available to the average person. The average person actually couldn't read. So it was a total blessing to everyone that we now have a Bible that we can have in our homes. We not only have many translations, we have actually many versions. The New American, the Douay Rheims, the Latin Vulgate. There's so many Bibles that I enjoy all of them. I do. They're not all one is not as good as the other. I mean, that's just the way it is, because when you think about it, it's been around for, the Bible, the written word has been around for thousands of years. So I'm saying the actual Bible in print has been around since 1565, I believe. And so before that, everybody had to rely on the priest to tell them what was in the Bible. So that's always been a part of the Mass, is to say the readings of the Bible. The first reading is usually from the Old Testament, and then the second, the responsorial psalm, will usually be from Proverbs or Psalms, and then the second reading will generally be from the New Testament, and then the priest will say the gospel reading when he says exactly what Jesus said. And so that is the order of the beginning of Mass. I'm often puzzled. I talk to many former Catholics who say, I'm not going to say claim, because I know that that's what they remember, but they say they never got the Bible at the Mass. I'm thinking, how could you miss it? The Mass is the Bible. Everything about the Mass is the Bible. And so when we do the readings, I'm a lector at my church. And so I literally, since 1997, stand up before the faithful and I read scripture to the faithful. So I'm puzzled when people say they never got the Bible in the church. What did they think? We were like winging it, that we just get up there and just say something we were thinking about that morning? I don't know. But there you are. It was right there. I was doing it. Everybody's been doing it, and it's just been done. And I don't get that. But I think it's because maybe we don't say the Bible says. We just says from the book of this, the book of John, the book of this. That's what we say when we do the readings. And I enjoy doing that because I feel as though God has given me the gift of a voice, and with that gift, I must use it to serve Him, or else what's the point? And so anyways, here I am. I'm not really serving Him. It's like all that. This is not the Mass, so don't expect me not to say a potty word here or there. But I like the Bible readings. Today's, though, was really something, because for years, I never got that whole message. Like when Jesus said, I came here to bring division. I thought that doesn't make sense, because, Jesus is about peace, right? We're all supposed to be about peace and getting together. Well, not as it turns out. He says, I have come to set a man at odds with his father, a daughter with her mother. Matthew 10:35. Jesus bluntly declares, do not suppose that my mission on earth is to spread peace. My mission is to spread not peace, but division. Wow. I didn't get that before, but I see where he's going with that, Jesus. I get it now. because there sure is some division. Black Lives Matter and I are divided. Those are not my people. Those people out there acting like fools, not my people. There is division. There is division. And I think God is separating the goats from the sheep. It's really a shame. But whoever came up with that slogan, Black Lives Matter, was a genius. Because in that slogan, that title alone, white people can feel good about themselves when they say it. Black Lives Matter. And black people can feel superior. Black Lives Matter. And then you can say, yeah, but don't all lives matter? Well, apparently you can't say that, not in all freedom in this country. Apparently. It's come to my attention quite often, more than once. I mean, too often, that when I or anyone says all lives matter, when I say it, people go, but really, I really want to say Black Lives Matter, Kathy. And I'm like, really? Did you check out their website? I brought this up on one of my videos. Did you check out their website, blacklivesmatter.com? Go to the About page when they self-describe their mission statement, so to speak. And they tell you they are not about black men at all. George Floyd was a convenient opportunity to Black Lives Matter. Nothing more. They're not thinking about George Floyd. He's just a normal porn star drug addict to them, which probably in their hearts of hearts, they don't like the man. Because if you look at their website, they don't like men very much at all, which is surprising to me how many young men are out there yelling Black Lives Matter. I mean, it was a genius marketing ploy. Think about it. You can virtue signal when you say it or when you hear it, or you can present it on a sticker and people think that you care about black people. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because that slogan is the name of a Marxist group that wants to overthrow our country and wants to dissolve the nuclear family. They are anti-patriarchy. So everything has to be around the woman. And being a bona fide woman, I have no problem with them being for women. I'm a woman. I'm for me. But I don't need a group or an organization or a club to say anything on my behalf. But the problem I have with Black Lives Matter is they go one step further. They're anti-male. They're anti-male. They're against anything patriarchal. They don't want anything centered on men. They almost want to pretend men don't exist. So I'm really surprised about the young men who are being indoctrinated in their Marxist group, because these young men will be their enemies one day, and they've been duped. And we normal women, those of us who are not married, we need normal, good guys, regular guys who you guys are against, to marry and have families with. The nuclear families. Civilization has depended on the nuclear family for its survival. So if you destroy the nuclear family, then I have a problem with you. Because we need that. So no, I will have nothing to do with the group Black Lives Matter, not in this lifetime or any other. This is terrible. And please, if you're anybody, don't come to me and explain to me why I should say Black Lives Matter. I'm black. I don't have to say squat to anybody. I think it's terrible the way people are trying to guilt other people into saying things just the way they want them to say it. This started with PC, the political correctness going on in our society. It's really pathetic that a person can't say all lives matter. Let me put it to you this way. This last week, a person, a lady, a woman, who you'd think, they care about because they don't give a rat's behind about men. There was an Indiana woman who was fatally shot earlier this month following an alleged argument between her family and a group of Black Lives Matter supporters. She was with her family. The woman, 24-year-old Jessica Doty Whitaker, was walking along Indianapolis Canal Walk with her fiancé, Jose Ramirez, and two other people around 3 a.m., July 5th. So what happened was she was shot in the head by a member, they say, of Black Lives Matter, because she said, all lives matter. And when she said that, they had a little argument, and then someone went on a bridge, aimed down at her, and shot her in the head because she said, all lives matter. Talk about the political correctness police. These are terrorists. These are terrorists. Everybody's life matters, but now they want, you have to say it the way they want. Are you going to get terrorized? Are you going to get killed? Are you going to, be hurt or harmed because you don't say the exact sentence they want you to say? All of these arguments have been about political correctness so often. It's really pathetic. And it's less than who we have been as Americans. Freedom of speech? Excuse me, I forgot what that was. I used to think I knew what that was. But apparently, freedom of speech is kind of a distant memory now. And they're still out there, the Black Lives Matter, they're out there chanting, George Floyd's name. I bet you they don't even remember George Floyd. I bet you if you ask them, how old was he? They don't know. No. What was his job? They probably don't remember. He was a convenient opportunity for them to go out and wreak havoc. Now, they were looking for this opportunity. Trust and believe, this opportunity was just primo for them. But they were sitting in squalor and looking for it because they were waiting for something racial to happen while everybody was shut down. Because now America was at her knees. We were in our weakest spot. We were stuck in our houses, quivering in fear of this pandemic, of this virus. So once they they come up with this. The name Black Lives Matter, that's been around a while. Genius, though. Genius to come up with that. Virtue signaling, everything all in one little phrase. Make everybody feel good about themselves for saying it, writing it, making posters. But if Black Lives mattered, they would want children to have mothers and fathers married and staying together, not dismantling the nuclear family. 90% of all people in prison had a single parent in the family taking care of them, a mother usually. I don't want to say one or the other because it often happens just the opposite way when the mother's off in prison for doing what not, and the father's a single father. There are a lot of single fathers out there, but there are situations that I think we're all fed up with it. So when Jesus talks about the vision, I get it now, Jesus. He doesn't want us hanging around these people. If they're not going to listen to you, if they're going to shoot you in the head, if they're going to accost you in your home, if they're going to beat you up on the street and throw bricks through your place of business, no, let's separate the sheep from the goat. I don't want to be with the goats. No, I'm done. Maybe that's somebody else's ministry. They can go off and be with the goats and take care of the goats. Everybody has different gifts, but I'm going to stick with Jesus here. Yes. But he's the one who spreads peace. Jesus is the source of peace. But even he says so here, that we are going to divide. And I get it now. I get it. This last week, I realized that because I have control issues, that I try to control the situation by worrying about the situation as though that's going to change anything. Worrying never changed not one thing. All it does is it eats away at your soul, at your heart, and makes you stressful. Worry is just the mind's way of controlling a situation it cannot control. And I found, and this is sort of sad, but actually it's brought me a lot of peace, but I took down the pictures of all of my family. All of them. Love them. Love them. But every time I went down my hall, which is where I had all my pictures of everyone I love. I would look at this picture and I would think, oh, I hope she's okay. And I'd look at that picture. Oh, I hope she's okay. Oh, I hope they're, and then I found that I felt stressed every time I walked down that hall. I'm thinking, take them all down. Let me see what a difference that will make. And I did. So I took all the pictures down and I was, wow, every time I go down that hall and something's missing, obviously, but it was so peaceful. It was so peaceful. And then I realized something else. There are so many kinds of idolatry. Worrying, anxiety, and obsession about your children and worrying about, if this is happening, I hope everybody's okay. That's an idolatry too. I'm holding on to it as though that could change anything. Prayer can change things, but worrying doesn't change anything. So taking those pictures down, guess what? I was putting that above Jesus. I was putting my worry, my sense of wanting to control the situation of everybody that I love above my relationship and my discussion with Jesus Christ. That is what was happening. So taking them down, coupled with I'm doing a surrender novena, which I love. My friend Terry gave me the surrender novena, and I don't know, other Christians should try novenas. It's a spiritual discipline, a practice of saying prayers for the period of 9 days. I'll explain the 9 days at another point, but it has significant spiritual and historical a basis. So I've been doing this surrender novena where I surrender everything to Jesus, my loves, my anxieties, my habits that are not good. So Jesus, you take care of it. I'm not doing this so well. And I'm on day 8 of that prayer. And so tomorrow is my last day. I might start all over because I'm loving it. I'm feeling so much better. And Jesus is taking all my problems. I'm like, yeah, Jesus, thank you for these beautiful, beautiful children. You can have them back. And he's doing it. Because he knows, and I know in my heart of hearts, that he'll do a much better job with it than I will. That's just obvious. So that's my little lesson for you guys today, as if I knew anything. I just wanted to share with you something that I discovered just this last week. So the rest of my show, I'm going to try to talk about something else. But I just wanted to share that with you because it's a revelation of mine, and it has brought me peace. The only pictures I have around here now are of Jesus and Mary and a picture of Breakfast at Tiffany's, Audrey Hepburn. That does not bring me stress. Remember that show on Netflix, I think it was, Maria, what is her last name? I want to say Hondo, but I'm not sure. Anyway, she's the one that does organization. She helps you organize your home and organize things. And she has this philosophy that if you pick up an item and if it doesn't bring you joy, then you get rid of it. If it brings you joy, then you keep it. And so I'm not getting rid of my kids because I love my kids. So, but the thing is, that's sort of the same thing because that wasn't bringing me joy. It was bringing me anxiety, just worry. It's just all, that's how Satan works with you. He makes you worry. And that's not of God. Worrying is not. It's a bad habit. It's not of God. Try to get away from it. For me, I'm working on it. I'm doing surrendering prayers, which it just feels so good to do. Jesus, you take care of it. You take care of it. I mean, all that suffering on the cross, he did it for a reason. So, wow. Anyways, so this has been that kind of week. So do not say Black Lives Matter to me or anybody else just to make somebody else feel better because people are getting shot. Never. You shouldn't be afraid all the time. If somebody gets offended, if you genuinely said something bad that you know was bad, yeah, apologize. But if you're not intending to hurt someone's feelings, then you're not responsible for people being hypersensitive about every little thing. And I'm tired of it. I think most people are. Political correctness has gone awry. And Black Lives Matter it's almost a cult, but since they don't have religion and they believe in really every sordid sort of sex, I'm not kidding. But these people are not your friends. They don't want to be your friends. They want to control you. And that's why they go into places and terrorize them. So don't mistake them for a benevolent group. They are not. They are not. They do not represent me, that's for sure. So whoever came up with that clever slogan / title, brilliant. It's working. Look, they've got all these big companies giving them money, millions. Money, money, money. And some people don't even believe that it's a real organization. Well, somebody's cashing those checks. Who's getting the money? I know Soros' hand is in there somewhere, because wherever there is chaos, Soros has got his hands in it some way. He too would like to take down the United States of America. I don't think that's a big secret. Just Google it. It's not a secret. So I was looking at the idea of starting a new painting. I really have to finish my last 3 that I started, because I can't dare start another one. I've often done that, though. I'll bounce around with different paintings and different ideas and go back to it and change it all over. And it's a process that's constantly changing. And as an artist, I find that exciting. The process is just as exciting as painting. I think mixing paints, colors, is just as much fun as the actual painting and composing of the painting. I love mixing colors. One of the things I did when I first began painting was I would get a painting of an artist that I really love and admire, like Mary Cassatt. She was an American French Impressionist. She was an American who studied French Impressionism with French Impressionists. And she was an awesome artist. And she loved to do pictures of mothers and babies and children because that was her role in life. And so she did that. And her paintings just glow. So Mary Cassatt, God bless her. I'm trying to remember what is her birthday. I used to have it on my calendar every year, but she was awesome. As artists, we're always in the process. And part of being an artist is the process of surrendering. Go figure. You have to surrender in order to be creative. Because when you attempt to control, well, some artists are really good at that. That's called I call it pointillism. When they want a painting to look exactly like a photograph. They're gifted artists who can do that. I used to try to do that. It just came off a little bit cartoonish. And I realized that just wasn't me. It wasn't my style. Because I looked at what I really liked. And I said, I have to do the style that I really like. The one that comes naturally to me. And that is Impressionism. That is my form. And that is what I always gravitate to. That is what I like to see. That is what I like to do. And Impressionism is great. Right now, I'm going through a process where I take a black and white photo of an object, and then I give it color on my canvas. Now, the black and white photo will just give you the values of the colors. You know, how dark, how recessed, and the depth of the shadows and the light. And so, when you translate that to colors in your head and on your canvas, you get something completely unique and beautiful. And I'm going to show you that. If you go on my Patreon page, which is not set up completely yet, right now I think I just have an introduction, and I haven't really sent all the videos that I have that I was going to send to them. I have to figure all that out. But I'm really looking forward to my relationship with Patreon. I'll still be having my show on Spreaker and on my show on YouTube. All of those things are still staying the same for good because I enjoy doing them. And I decided, instead of being shy and worried about content every single day of my life, I'm just going to get on there and do it every day because it's so much fun. And every time I do, I go, oh my gosh, that was so easy. Why do I put it off? It was so easy. So think about that. If you're a creator, if you're an artist, if you're a cook, everybody's an artist in some way, I believe. I believe everybody has some form of genius within them that hasn't been tapped into for the most part. And I think that that's our journey in life, is to tap into the genius. That genius is that spark, that divine spark that God puts in you. You have no idea what it is when you're a child. I mean, that most people are just guided by, what their parents tell them and what their friends tell them, and they think that's what they are. But really, to define and discover that point of genius that is in you and me, it's in each person. That is the journey of discovery that helps you grow closer with God, closer with your neighbors. And in some way, for me, it feels like an explosion. It feels like an explosion of love and appreciation and gratitude. And I hope to share that with you. These are my goals. These are what I hope to bring to my audience, my friends, I hope you are one. And I hope that we continue to develop hope amongst one another. The whole world isn't going to hell in a basket. It looks like that on TV. Because on TV, if it bleeds, it leads. I've worked in the news before. I worked at a news station anyway. And it bleeds, it leads. So if it's wonderful and everything's fine, no, they're not going to get on TV. But if there's an explosion, something bad, a bad explosion, not like a creative explosion, but a bad one, then they get on TV. So, there are a lot of hardworking young people, educated, hardworking, kind, decent, trying to make a life for themselves, hardworking, good people, like the two guys across the street with the tractors. Just young guys trying to make a living, trying to create a life for themselves so that they can one day have a family. Those are Americans. Those jackasses you see out there on TV, destroying things, pillaging, looting, those are not my people. I don't know who those people are. I don't really care to know them. I hope one day they look back at the television and see how embarrassing they were to their families. But that's disgusting behavior. And we are not like that. My kids aren't out there. My kids aren't out there. I have one daughter that's liberal as can be. Thank God she doesn't have time to do all of that because she has to take care of herself. And I don't know where they're getting their money. Probably Soros. Anyways, I just think that it's a terrible, terrible example, and the news media is being a part of it, showing it every single day. It's making people my age feel very, very insecure, thinking like, gosh, what book of Revelations are we in today? Because it feels like it's the end of the world. But it's not. They are not the majority. They have brought a knife to a gunfight. They are in these blue inner cities. As soon as they step out of there, they're going to be outgunned and outnumbered. And these old geezers like me, and I know a bunch of them, we're all armed, but we're decent citizens. Those people out there that are doing stuff, criming and everything in those cities and knocking everything down and destroying public property, they are the minute minority compared to the rest of the people that are keeping this country going during this pandemic. And they are outnumbered, and it's joyful to see these young people doing positive things. The ones that answered the phone, have a problem on my new phone. And, this young lady was helping me, and I said, God bless you for doing what you do and helping people. Because when I look at the television, I think it looks like the whole world's out there being like that. But you know what? Where I live, we got deer in the front yard, deer in the backyard. They're building houses everywhere. This country is coming back from this. And those people will be back in their parents' basement, garage, apartment, whatever. They'll be back to doing nothing again. So some other call to duty. Some other poor slob gets killed. But they really do want a new martyr of their own. But yeah, they're still screaming George Floyd's name. But meanwhile, little kids are being shot. Mothers are being shot. Businesses are being wrecked and ended. And this has to end. And I know where it's going to end. The minute they step outside of those inner cities. You saw it with that couple. You saw that. That couple, I forget what city they were in, but their fence had been knocked down by this group protesting. They brought out their guns and ammunition. Something about that couple, though. They were supporters before that of Black Lives Matter. I thought that was just a rumor, but it turns out they were supporters. And they got their guns taken away from them. But let them go deeper into these neighborhoods. There's going to be trouble, and they better be ready for it. Their bricks are not going to get in the way of a bullet. And these old people, we're not going to try to fight you young people. We get our behinds kicked. You're younger and stronger. But we're not going to try to duke it out. I'm telling you, I speak to people. Most of the people around me are old, like me. And they don't mess around. They're not going to sit there and try to discuss with you I'm not talking to you, my audience, but I'm talking to, and just in case there's some crazy leftist liberal out there, but they're not going to try to discuss anything with you. They're not going to try to duke it out. They're going to say, oh my gosh, you're trespassing, and they'll just deal with the consequences later. I mean, 2 days in jail is nothing, really, especially to an old person. We're not afraid of that. So they better watch out. I hope and pray they have enough sense to stay away from us. I'm talking about us, old people. I'm not making any kind of threat or anything. I would never do that. But I just want them to know this is not a good idea. We are old, and we are not going to try to duke it out with you. We're not going to throw sticks and stones. So what do they think's going to happen? Be interesting to find out. But they are outnumbered, not gone. We're in Texas where I live. And these are good, decent people. Nobody wants to harm anybody. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. That's not what we wake up in the morning to do. We wake up in the morning to have a good life, to enjoy one another and be good friends and neighbors. And that's what we do. But, this is going to be bad if they keep doing that. So I'm saying there's lots more young people who are doing good than those heathens that are out in the street. That's my message as well. There is reason for hope. It's not improving the problem. They got people kneeling and everything, and they're not kneeling for God. They're kneeling for Black Lives Matter. This is crazy. Entire industries are shut down because of the pandemic. We don't need this on top of it. And they're just completely taking advantage of it. Taking advantage of us at our weakest point in 100 years. Us being worried about coronavirus. Us being worried. Oh, there we go again with the worry. Let go of it. Do whatever you have to do to let go of the worry. It might be drastic. I took my pictures down. I didn't think it was going to make that much of a difference, but it has as far as the flow of my home. It's not, I don't know if it's Zen or what's the word? Feng Shui. It's not Feng Shui, but it definitely feels more peaceful because I'm not reminded every single minute of every single day who I ought to be worried about. I become a saint because of my kids. I pray all the time because, oh my God, I see their picture and then I'm praying again. Oh, there I am praying again. Oh, Jesus, do this. You know what? I thought I was being more holy, but that's not holy. It's not more holy to worry. Praying is still good, but worry. That's a whole new kind of idol. That's a whole new kind of worship. And that's what I learned this week. So I shared it with you and a little bit of my art. I'm going to be doing another video soon, but meanwhile, you stay close, stay comfortable, stay with your family, and by all means, love your neighbor. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to talk about race relations with your Black friends. That's another problem, that a whole nother level. I'll just show about that because that is really crazy too. A lot of people go, well, Kathy, I would have brought it up to you, but I didn't want to, you worried about my feelings now? Oh, please. It's not my feelings. The problem is we didn't talk about politics and religion growing up. That's why we've been so damn polite that this stuff is flourishing. So let's stop being polite. I mean, stay Christian, but stop being so doggone polite. You're not doing anybody any favors because it's always been politics and religion. It always has been and always will be. The entire Bible, politics and religion. King Herod, politics and religion. Pontius Pilate, politics and religion. It's always been that case. So fear not. Listen to Jesus. Don't listen to TV people. Listen to Jesus. Fear not. And Jesus, I get it now. I totally get it. Thank you, Jesus. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. Keep listening. Subscribe. I don't know if you're listening on YouTube or not, or Patreon, but I sure would like some onlookers. I'm going to transport this to Patreon today. It'll be my first podcast that I've transposed to Patreon. Wish me luck on the technology end. I love you guys. I love America. I love my audience. I love hearing from you. This is an awesome country. This is the best country in the world for a person to be a Black person, including Africa. This is the best place to be an African American. I don't know. I've never been to Africa. I'm going to say I'm an American Black person. I like that better. I'm an American black person. Because we went through all of this stuff. I mean, I remember being called colored, which is fine with me, until then they came out with black, which is fine with me, and then they keep changing it. So now I'm like, you know what? Colored was fine with me because we all have different colors. In fact, everybody's colored. My husband's beige and pink. I'm more of a cafe au lait, little bit of burnt sienna. What color are you? It's just skin. That's it. It's only skin. Be peaceful. Cathy'sRight.com. I'm so sorry. I'm having a wonderful day. I'm going to do another one of these shows for you tomorrow, and I'll be back. Check out my website. Oh, and Kathy's Right, conservative discussion and encouragement for conservatives. So check that out on Facebook, and bye.